She knelt before him, her hands trembling, her eyes soaked with tears, and begged for mercy. But the billionaire leaned back in his golden chair, eyes cold, voice calm, and said, "You want to save his life? Then spend the night with me." Grace froze. Her lips quivered. Her heart shattered into silence. She came for help. But what she got was a nightmare in disguise. But just when all hope seemed lost, something happened no one, not even Grace, saw coming. Sit tight, because what you're about to witness is a breathtaking story of love, betrayal, and a divine twist that changed everything. Grace and Daniel loved each other very much. They lived in a small house, but their hearts were full of joy. Grace worked hard as a seamstress, making beautiful clothes. Daniel was a kind man, always smiling. He worked at the market, selling fresh fruits. They had simple dreams. They dreamed of getting married soon. They dreamed of having a little family. They saved every penny they could. Life was not easy, but they were happy. Their love made everything bright. They often walked hand in hand, talking about their future. The future looked good, full of promise and light. One sunny afternoon, Grace was coming home from the market. She was thinking about Daniel. She smiled. He always waited for her. Suddenly, she heard a loud, terrible sound. A car horn blared. Then a loud crash. Grace's heart jumped. She looked up. People were running. They were shouting. Fear gripped her. She ran towards the noise. A crowd had gathered. Her eyes searched. Then she saw him. Daniel. He was lying on the ground. A speeding car had hit him. He was not moving. Grace screamed his name. Her voice was thin, full of terror. She pushed through the crowd. Her hands trembled. She fell to her knees beside him. His eyes were closed. His face was pale. Blood was on the ground. Someone called for help. An ambulance arrived quickly. The sirens wailed, loud and sad. Paramedics lifted Daniel onto a stretcher. Grace tried to hold his hand. A paramedic gently told her to let go. They rushed him into the ambulance. Grace jumped in too. She held Daniel's hand tightly. She prayed with all her might. "Please, God, please. Let him be okay." The ambulance raced through the streets. Every bump, every turn, made her heart ache. She watched Daniel's still face. Tears streamed down her face. This could not be happening. Not to her Daniel. Not to them. Their future, their dreams, felt like they were slipping away. The hospital entrance loomed large and frightening. At the hospital, everything moved so fast. Nurses and doctors took Daniel away. Grace stood alone in the bright, cold hallway. Time felt very slow. She paced back and forth. She wanted to know. She needed to know. Was he alive? Was he breathing? What would happen? After what felt like forever, a doctor came. His face was serious. He looked tired. Grace rushed to him. "Doctor, how is he? Is Daniel okay?" she asked, her voice trembling. The doctor sighed. "He is alive, Grace. But he is badly hurt. He needs emergency surgery." Grace's breath hitched. "Surgery? What kind of surgery?" she asked. The doctor explained. "His injuries are severe. He needs an operation right away. It is very serious. Without it, he may not make it." Grace felt a cold fear spread through her. But he will be okay after the surgery, right?" The doctor nodded slowly. "We hope so. But the surgery is very expensive, Grace. Very, very expensive." He named a sum. A huge sum. More money than Grace had ever seen. More money than she could ever make in her whole life. Her mind went blank. Her legs felt weak. She almost fell. The number echoed in her ears. It sounded like a death sentence. She looked at the doctor. "But I don't have that kind of money," she whispered. Her voice was barely there. The doctor looked at her with pity. "I am sorry, Grace. We need the money before we can start." He walked away. Grace stood there, frozen. Daniel needed the surgery now. Every minute counted. But where would she get the money? She had no family. Her parents had passed away years ago. Daniel's family lived far away, and they were also poor. She had a few friends, but they were like her, struggling to make ends meet. No one could help her with such a huge amount. She thought of everyone she knew. No one. She felt truly alone. She looked at the hospital walls, so white, so clean, but they felt like prison walls. Daniel was behind one of these doors, waiting for her to save him. But she had no way. Her hope began to die, slowly, painfully. She sat on a hard plastic chair. Her head was in her hands. Tears fell like rain. What could she do? Who could help? Then, a name came to her mind. Chief Oba. Billionaire Chief Oba. He was a very rich man. Everyone knew him. He had big houses and many cars. He lived in a huge mansion outside the city. He had so much money. More money than he could ever spend. But Chief Oba was not a good man. People said he was arrogant. He did not care about poor people. He was cruel. Grace had heard many stories about his cold heart. She never thought she would ever need to go near him. But now, Daniel's life was at stake. She had no other choice. It was her last hope. She hated the idea. Her stomach turned. But she had to try. For Daniel. She stood up, her body aching. She wiped her tears. She had to be strong. She had to be brave. She took a deep breath. She would go to Chief Oba. She would beg him. She would ask for mercy. Maybe, just maybe, his heart was not completely stone. Maybe he would help. It was a small hope, a tiny flicker in the darkness, but it was all she had left. She walked out of the hospital, into the harsh sunlight. Getting to Chief Oba's mansion was hard. It was very far. Grace used the last of her small money for a taxi. As the taxi drove closer, the houses became bigger. The roads became smoother. Soon, a huge gate appeared. It was made of black iron, tall and grand. 2 big guards stood by the gate. They looked strong and serious. The taxi driver stopped. Grace got out. She felt very small. The mansion was even bigger than she had imagined. It was like a palace. White walls, tall windows, green lawns. It looked cold, not welcoming. Grace walked to the gate. The guards stopped her. "What do you want?" one guard asked, his voice deep. Grace trembled. I need to see Chief Oba. It's very important. A matter of life and death," she said. The guards looked at each other. They seemed to mock her with their eyes. "The chief does not see just anyone," the other guard said. Grace begged them. "Please, I beg you. My fiancé is dying. He needs money for surgery. Only Chief Oba can help." She looked so sad and desperate. Maybe they saw it. After a long moment, one guard spoke into a small radio. Then he opened the gate, just a little. "Go in. Wait by the door," he said, not kindly. Grace walked slowly up the long driveway. The air felt heavy. She reached the huge front door. It was made of dark, heavy wood. She knocked gently. A servant opened the door. The servant had a blank face. "Yes?" he asked. "I am here to see Chief Oba," Grace said. "Wait here," the servant said. He left her in a very large, grand room. The room was full of expensive things. Shiny furniture, big paintings, soft carpets. Everything looked rich. But it felt cold. Not like a home. Grace stood there, feeling out of place. She felt small and dirty in her worn clothes. After a long wait, Chief Oba walked into the room. He was a tall man, dressed in very fine clothes. His face was smooth, but his eyes were hard. He looked at Grace, not with kindness, but with a cold stare. "You wanted to see me?" he asked. His voice was deep, like stone. Grace quickly knelt down. She fell to her knees on the soft carpet. She put her hands together in front of her face, begging. "Chief Oba, please. I beg you. My fiancé, Daniel, he had an accident. He needs surgery right now. It costs so much money. I have nowhere else to go. Please have mercy on us," she pleaded. Tears welled up in her eyes again. Chief Oba did not move. He did not smile. He just watched her. His face showed no emotion. He walked slowly to a big chair made of shiny wood and soft leather. He sat down. He leaned back. He looked at Grace, still on her knees. He then gave a slow, fake smile. It was not a real smile. It was a cruel smile. "You want money?" he asked. His voice was calm, too calm. "Yes, Chief. Please." "Daniel will die without it," Grace whispered. She looked up at him, her eyes full of pain and hope. Chief Oba's smile got wider. It was a cold, hateful smile. He folded his hands. "You want the money?" he asked again. Grace nodded quickly. "Yes, Chief. Anything. I will work for you. I will pay you back. Just please, help Daniel." Chief Oba looked her up and down. His eyes were like ice. He leaned forward a little. His next words chilled Grace to the bone. "You want the money? Spend the night with me." Grace's world stopped. Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. Her lips trembled. She could not believe what she had just heard. Her body felt numb. This was not mercy. This was evil. She stared at him, the man who had everything, asking for something so terrible. Her heart pounded. Shame and anger rushed through her. How could he? How could he be so cruel? Tears started to flow again, hot and heavy. But these were not tears of sadness only. These were tears of anger and hurt. For a long moment, she just knelt there, tears pouring down her face. Chief Oba watched her, still with that cruel smile. He did not care. He expected her to say yes. But Grace was stronger than he knew. She was scared. She was desperate. But she had dignity. She had self-respect. And she loved Daniel deeply. She would not betray him. Not like this. Slowly, with great effort, Grace stood up. She did not say a word. Her body was straight. Her head was high. Her eyes, though full of tears, looked at him with silent refusal. She looked at his cold eyes, and then she turned. Without a sound, she walked towards the door. She did not run. She did not cry out. She just walked, quietly, with all the dignity she had left. Chief Oba watched her. He was surprised. He did not think she would refuse. His cruel smile vanished. He frowned. He snapped his fingers. A sharp sound. Instantly, the two big guards from the gate appeared. They moved fast. They grabbed Grace. They pulled her. "Get out!" Chief Oba's voice boomed. His voice was full of anger. The guards dragged Grace out of the mansion. They did not care if she stumbled. They pulled her past the beautiful gardens, down the long driveway. When they reached the big iron gate, they pushed her out. The gate slammed shut behind her, a heavy, final sound. Grace was outside, alone, on the dusty road. The sun was hot, but she felt only cold. She was shattered, broken. Her last hope was gone. Daniel was dying. And she had failed him. She had nothing. No money. No hope. Only pain. She started to walk. She did not know where she was going. Her legs felt heavy like lead. Her head hurt. Her heart was a deep, open wound. Tears ran down her face like a river. She walked and walked, past big houses, then smaller ones, then empty fields. The sun began to set, painting the sky with orange and red. But Grace saw no beauty. Only darkness. She was lost. Lost and hopeless. She wept without stopping. Her sobs shook her whole body. She stopped by the side of a quiet road, near a tall tree. She leaned against the tree, letting all her sorrow out. She felt like her life was over. As she wept, her face buried in her hands, she heard a soft sound. A car. A sleek, black car. It was very quiet, not like other cars. It pulled up slowly, right beside her. Grace did not look up. She thought it was just passing by. Then, the car door opened. A woman stepped out. Grace did not move. She just sobbed. The woman walked closer. She was elegant. Her clothes were simple but fine. Her face was kind. Her eyes were warm, full of concern. She did not look at Grace with judgment. She looked with care. "What happened to you, young lady?" the woman asked gently. Her voice was soft, like a warm blanket. Grace looked up slowly. Her eyes were red and swollen. Her face was streaked with tears and dirt. She looked at the woman. The woman did not look away. She just stood there, waiting, with patience. Grace wanted to speak. She wanted to tell her everything. But the words would not come out. She was too broken, too sad. She just shook her head and sobbed even harder. The woman did not push her. She just reached out a hand. Her hand was soft and warm. She gently touched Grace's shoulder. "It's okay. You don't have to speak right now," she said. Come into my car. You look very tired. You need a safe place." Grace hesitated for a moment. Should she trust this stranger? But there was something in the woman's eyes. Something truly kind. Grace nodded slowly. She was too tired to refuse. The woman helped her into the car. The seats were soft and comfortable. The air inside was cool. It felt like a small, safe haven. The woman sat beside her. She did not ask questions right away. She just drove slowly. The car moved quietly. Grace felt a little better, just being away from the dusty road, away from the harsh stares of the world. After a few minutes, the woman spoke again. "My name is Ifioma. Madam Ifioma." "What is your name?" Grace whispered. "Grace." Madam Ifioma smiled kindly. "It's good to meet you, Grace. Are you feeling a little better now?" Grace nodded. Then, slowly, the words started to come out. Grace began to share her story. She told Madam Ifioma everything. About Daniel, their love, their dreams. About the accident. The hospital, the doctor's words, the huge amount of money. She told her about Chief Oba, his cold heart, his cruel words, his terrible offer. She told her about her refusal, and how she was thrown out. She told her how hopeless she felt. She spoke with a trembling voice, tears still falling, but less now. Madam Ifioma listened to every word. She did not interrupt. She just listened, her face full of understanding. When Grace finished, the car was quiet for a moment. Grace waited for Madam Ifioma to say something. Maybe she would say sorry, but that she couldn't help. Maybe she would offer a little comfort. But Madam Ifioma surprised her. She took a deep breath. She looked at Grace, her eyes clear and strong. "Grace," she said, her voice firm now, but still kind, "you are a very strong woman. You did well to refuse that man. Your dignity is worth more than all his money." Grace looked at her, surprised. Madam Ifioma continued, "Don't worry about Daniel's surgery. We will take care of it." Grace blinked. "We? Who is we? What do you mean?" Madam Ifioma smiled. "I will pay for Daniel's surgery in full. Right now. We will go straight to the hospital." Grace's heart leaped. She could not believe her ears. Was this real? Was this woman truly offering to help? For no reason. But why? Grace asked, confused. Madam Ifioma just shook her head. "Kindness, Grace. Sometimes, kindness is all we have to offer. You are in need, and I can help." Madam Ifioma turned the car around. She drove fast, but safely, towards the hospital. Grace could not stop looking at her. This woman was a true angel. When they arrived at the hospital, Madam Ifioma walked straight to the reception. She spoke calmly but firmly. She paid for Daniel's surgery. All the money. Grace watched, tears of relief now mixing with her earlier tears of sadness. It was like a dream. The hospital staff were surprised. The doctor came out, his face changing from serious to surprised, then to happy. Daniel could have his surgery now. But Madam Ifioma was not finished. She came back to Grace. "Daniel will be okay now," she said. "But you too will need a fresh start." Grace was still trying to understand. A fresh start. Madam Ifioma nodded. "Yes. I have a company. It is a big company. I am the CEO." Grace's eyes widened. She had not known. Madame Ifioma was a quiet person, but she was very powerful. I want to offer you both jobs at my company. Good jobs. Daniel, when he recovers, can work there. And you, Grace, you can start right away. Grace was speechless. Jobs? For both of them. And that was not all. Madame Ifioma then said, "And I have an apartment. A nice one. It is empty. You and Daniel can live there. And you will have an official car for work." Grace felt dizzy. This was too much. Too much kindness. It was like a miracle. She started to cry again, but these were happy tears. She knelt down, trying to thank Madame Ifioma, but the kind CEO stopped her. "No, Grace. Please stand up. Just take this help. And live your lives well." Daniel's surgery was a success. He recovered slowly, but well. Grace stayed by his side. Every day, she thanked Madame Ifioma in her heart. When Daniel was strong enough, they moved into their new apartment. It was beautiful. Clean, bright, with comfortable furniture. They had a car, a nice one, for their new jobs. Grace started working at Madame Ifioma's company. She learned quickly. She worked hard. Daniel joined her a few weeks later. He loved his new job. Their lives turned around completely. They were no longer struggling. They were safe. They were happy. Their happiness was not because of Chief Oba's cruelty. His coldness had shown them the worst of people. But it was Madame Ifioma's unexpected kindness that had saved them. Her pure, giving heart had changed everything. Grace and Daniel never forgot the lesson. They learned that true wealth was not in money or power. It was in kindness. It was in helping others without asking for anything in return. They promised themselves they would always remember Madame Ifioma's gift. And they promised they would always try to be as kind as she had been to them, passing on the light she had given them. Their simple dreams were now real, made possible by a stranger's beautiful heart. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe for more powerful stories like this one.